Ever wonder why people still spend $3,000 on a handbag even when they know it's not worth that much? Well, Louis Vuitton isn't selling bags. They're selling identity, status, psychological control, and it works better than you might think. So in this video, I'm gonna expose the 9 psychological levers they use to make you want overpriced products. And if you're building a brand or just want to stop falling for the trick, you need to see this. Let's start with level 1, Louis Vuitton never runs sales. So Louis Vuitton, they're experts at driving scarcity by never running sales and limiting the visibility of the inventory. When you ask them if you want to purchase an item, they go and check if they have it in stock. And then they create this scarcity in a way that creates urgency and emotional arousal, even when the product itself hasn't really changed. And they often do tell you these little white lies as if it's the last one in stock to make you think that you're gonna miss out if you don't purchase it. And then they have a very long lead times in between drops to enhance that element of scarcity. And most founders can use these tactics in their e-commerce stores. You can do limited drops, only available for 72 hours. You can limit the quantity you sell, only 500 units of this drop. You can have visible countdown timers on your PDPs or landing pages. Or you can have early access for email subscribers or VIPs. So people are gonna fear missing out more they value gain. And these tactics create this perceived value fast and elevates your brand, your pricing. Next, when you buy from Louis Vuitton, you're not buying a bag, you're buying who you think you are. And someone buys LV, they're not buying a bag, they're buying status, elegance, arrival. They're buying the version of themselves they want to be perceived from the world. And your brand needs to do the same. Because no one's buying features, they're buying who they become when they use your product. That's why I tell every founder I coach, stop asking what your product does and start asking who does my customer become after buying it. When your brand answers these questions, then you're no longer selling a product, you're offering a transformation. So take Louis Vuitton, for example. They never say our bags are made of fine leather with excellent stitching. What they're actually saying is you've made it. You're at an elite level. You belong at the top. They're not marketing functionality, they're marketing the identity. And what they do so well is they insert their brand into the customer's self-concept. That's what we do at Cure Skincare. We don't say, here's an LED mask with red light therapy and blue light technology. We say, you've taken control of your beauty. You no longer wait weeks for expensive clinical treatments. You're becoming the type of woman who prioritizes herself first. And that glow is inside out. It's about transformation, not transaction. And they even look at Athletic Greens, one scoop, total health. They're not selling greens, they're selling the identity of someone who has their life together. Someone who's energized, proactive, efficient, and cares about their health. And that one scoop affirms the story they want to live by, their identity. And this is why we lean on before and after so much, and why we use story-based testimonials. We're not trying to prove that our product works. We are mirroring the version of the customer they want to become. It's not about smoother skin, it's about becoming someone who radiates confidence effortlessly. And here's the key truth. Identity is fluid. People are constantly evolving, refining, and growing. And the strongest brands understand this. They insert themselves into that evolution. You're not selling who they are today, you're selling who they want to become tomorrow. So be that bridge and they'll follow you for life. Moving on to level 3, Louis Vuitton makes you feel like everyone already owns it. So they don't just show you, they overwhelm you with the feeling that everyone already owns it. You walk their store, you see the crowds, you scroll Instagram, you see celebrities, influencers, even your neighbor flexing some bag. It's not an accident, it's engineered, even the design. They flood your senses with this social proof until your brain says, that must be the new standard. That must be what the elite are doing. And that's the psychology that every founder needs to use to build this instant trust, especially when you're a newer brand. And so here's how you replicate it. You put strong emotional reviews above the fold of your product. Don't make people scroll to believe you're legit. You run influencer seeding campaigns and repost every unboxing, especially the amateur ones, because this makes it feel like your brand is alive and loved. Then you say things like over 100,000 people love this formula, sold out 3 times this year. These are subconscious proofs that are heuristically programmed into the customer. And then your paid ads needs to be a mixture. Never rely on just polished studio shots. Include real UGC videos, people talking about their story to camera and react to the product, showing the packaging, the whole experience. Because under that uncertainty, people will follow the crowd. Social proof kills hesitation. So the next time that you're wondering why my conversations are slow, ask yourself, does my brand feel like it's already trusted by thousands? Or does it feel like I'm still trying to prove myself? Because trust isn't built by explaining, it's built by showing people they're not first to believe in you. But showing popularity isn't enough. Louis Vuitton also does this to make their brand feel untouchable. They don't lower the price to sell more, they use the lever number 4 and raise it to signal status. The average Louis Vuitton bag sells for about $2,000 and some go as high as like $5,000. Now compare that to a $50 leather tote bag. that you can grab at your local department store. Is the LV bag 40 times better in function? No, but it's 40 times better in perception. And that's what's called the Veblen effect at play. People crave what they can barely afford because the high price signals exclusivity, it signals scarcity, status. It's not just a bag, it's a proof that you have made it. And here's where most founders get it wrong. They try to win by lowering their prices, but in doing that, they tell the market that this isn't worth much. And the truth is, higher prices create higher perceived quality, and the perception often beats the fact. So stop racing to the bottom and compete on perceived value, not price. And that comes from like the craftsmanship, the design, the science, or innovation. For example, instead of saying made with collagen, you say clinically backed, dermatologist approved, and trusted by over 10,000 women worldwide to reverse signs of aging. Because the truth is, luxury buyers, they just don't want cheap. They want certainty. They want to feel like they're buying the best and that their choice says something about who they actually are, right? It's all back to identity. So if you want to charge more, the product needs to feel like more. And that's done through the messaging, the design, the story, the unboxing, the whole package. And remember, people don't always buy what's best. They buy what looks and feels and sounds like the best. And now once the price has you hooked, Louis Vuitton takes it a step further with Leather 5. They make you earn the privilege to buy. So Louis Vuitton doesn't sell products, they make you earn them. Some of their most coveted pieces aren't available in store or online. They're reserved for the VIPs only, invite drops or released through private client selling. So you don't just buy them, you're the chosen ones to have access to them. How cool is that? And that's exactly what it creates, an obsession. Ferrari does the same thing. You can't go and buy a new Ferrari unless you owned an old one previously. And so they force customers to go buy second-hand Ferraris before they can get access to the new ones, because the new ones are reserved for the existing clientele. And then this taps into that powerful psychological trigger called reactance. When access is restricted, people don't just want the product, they need it. The moment someone feels like it's out of reach, they just start assigning more value to it. It's kind of the same concept. You always want the girl that you can't have. The girl wants the guy that she can't have, right? And as founders, we can apply this no matter what stage. We can build a wait list before launching a new product, create VIP tiers for your best customers, give them early access. And don't be afraid to add a bit of friction, like ask things like, tell us why you want this. This extra frictional step makes the product feel more earned, more valuable. It creates this emotional investment. And the more hoops you can actually push someone through, the more they value the reward in the end, the more they value the product. And this is ingrained in us and human behavior. Just think about the relationship aspect that I spoke about before. The girl that's harder to get is always the one you value more. It's just the way it is. So if you want to increase your perceived value, don't just improve the product. Restrict the access, make it feel rare, and make it feel like an achievement. That's how luxury brands create this demand, a single product before it even hits the shelf. And after making you earn it, Louis Vuitton does something even more powerful. They show you who you wish you were. With level 6, it's called mirror marketing. Louis Vuitton doesn't show you beautiful products, they whisper your inner thoughts back to you. Their copy taps into your self-talk, your desire, you feel worthy, confident, elevated. Phrases like, because you deserve timeless elegance, or an icon just like you, aren't about the product, they're about you, your emotions, your self-image. It's back to the identity piece again. And that is the magic of world-class branding. It reflects the customer's inner dialogue right back to you. And great brands don't just describe features, they describe the feelings. They use the customer's own language to say, we see you, we understand you, this was made for you. And when a customer feels mirrored like that, true trust deepens, like emotional loyalty kicks in. There's no buying from a brand, they're buying from someone who gets them. And here's some examples from Kure Skincare. Like, we saw reviews saying, I don't have time for appointments, but I still want to look good. Or I don't have time for appointments, but I want to feel confident in my own skin. So we say, for women who want real results without rearranging their life for clinic visits, or for women that just want better skin to feel confident in their own skin with no makeup, hits on the elements that they're after, it's mirroring it back to them. Because humans lead with emotions first, and they justify their emotions with the logic. That's how they buy. So it's not the headline that explains it, it's a headline that connects, that mirrors. The buyer feels like that's me. And when your brand speaks their language, that's when your conversion skyrockets. Because people don't buy when they understand you, they buy when they feel like you understand them. And then just when you think you're ready to buy, Louis Vuitton does something unexpected. They limit your access to buy. So Louis Vuitton understands something that most brands overlook. The value isn't created at the point of purchase, it's built in the anticipation leading up to it. Like, how cool is that? Like, they tease these new collections with these cryptic posts and behind the scene clips. They whisper in the private clients' chats. They don't just drop products, they build the hype, the mystique, the desire. By the time it's available, customers are already emotionally invested and they just need it. They go nuts. And the same psychology works across industries. Emotional investment happens before the sale. That's when the loyalty begins. And at Cure, we use this kind of all the time when launching a new device. We might run like a 7 or 14-day teaser campaign. We'll do micro reveals, we'll do some UGC tease products as to countdowns of when the actual product's gonna be launched. And then we do a full reveal with early access for the waitlist and the VIPs, because each piece adds curiosity, each step increases anticipation. And by launch day, the buyers are just ready. They're emotionally committed. And you want to use language like, reserve your place, be the first to know, only 250 units available for our early access group. These are the phrases that tap into the brain's dopamine loop. And when you start to stretch the buyer's journey, you build that longer runway for emotional bonding. Brands like Glossier did this brilliantly, posting vague texts, close-ups, community polls, weeks before a drop. Apple, well, they announce products months in advance to build that craving. They don't tell you much more, just that they are launching it. So if you want more loyal customers, don't just launch, build that anticipation. Make the moment they finally buy feel like a reward they've been waiting for. That's how you build emotional loyalty, and that's how it begins. And once the box arrives at the customer's doorstep, the work isn't over. Level 8 is post-purchase justification. Most brands think that the customer journey ends at checkout, but in reality, that's just where it begins, because Louis Vuitton knows this. The moment you buy, they double down on the experience, like the premium packaging, handwritten notes, invitations to private events. Even their thank you cards feel like luxury. Every touch point in the purchase is designed to reaffirm the one thing: you have made the right choice. And that's how the emotional loyalty is built, not just through the product, but through what happens after the sale. And founders should take this very seriously. A few things to follow along the way. Like, you could send a personalized note at very low cost. You could follow up on the content like tips, routines, setup guides, help them get the most out of the product. You can give them community perks, early access to drops, loyalty rewards, or a private space where they feel like they're a part of something bigger. And at Cure, we don't just say thank you for an order. We welcome them into a community, a new area of women trying to be confident in their own skin. So they're joining a movement, not just a product. So it's not just about like confirmation, it's about affirmation. Because when the buyer feels like they've made a smart, validated decision post-purchase, that remorse kind of disappears. And you're in control of that more than you think. And loyalty becomes automatic. So remember this, the product got them to buy, but the experience after the sale is what gets them to come back. They tell their friends and they stay for life. And finally, let's talk about level 9, how Louis Vuitton earns your trust without saying a word. So they don't rely on product specs to earn trust, they leverage authority, celebrity endorsements, this is well known. High fashion editorials, A-list endorsements, whether it's Zendaya or Pharrell is seen wearing LV, the message is clear, like this brand is worth paying attention to. And that's when this authority bias is in action. Our brains are wired to trust people who seem smarter, more famous, or more influential than us. And when they endorse something, we shortcut our decision-making process by heuristics in our mind to transfer that trust instantly. We do this all the time at Cure, seen in Vogue, Elle, Forbes, backed by the world's biggest dermatologists, used by Kylie Jenner. We combine all of that to try and anchor our authority at the highest level. And you need to carry this messaging throughout your whole funnel. Subtle cues on, quoting experts on your landing page, to the checkouts, to emails, to post-purchase. That's how you instantly build a perceived authority, by doing it through the whole funnel. Because here's the truth, like the buyers don't trust the product, they trust the person or the platform that validates it. So if someone smarter, more experienced, or more famous has endorsed your brand, you need to show it. That's how you build trust before the customer even reads a single review. So if that helped you, check out my video on how I went from $0 to $50 million in under 4 years.